A breakthrough in bras.
No one had ever really even thought of this until I started talking about bra bulge.
Welcome back to The Big Idea. Something is happening to you every day that really bugs you. I know it is happening. Something that doesn't quite work right, fit right, operate right. When that happens, there's a little voice in your head that goes, oh, it's got to be a better way. Well, tonight, we're going to help you hear that voice and make millions. And my next guest came up with a better way to make underwear.
The better way, Sassybax. It's a breakthrough in bras that uses the smoothing properties you get from the material in pantyhose to help shape a woman's upper half. Sassybax helps make unflattering bulges disappear for a slimmer silhouette, and according to the company, had $10 million in sales in 2006.
Amanda Haran Kennedy, president and designer of Sassybax. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great to have
Donny.
you here, Miss Sassybax.
Thank you.
So let's go back to the beginning. What was the problem you were having with your kind of undergarment situation?
Well, basically, I had had 2 brain surgeries in 2001, and I had worked since the time, well, I had 2 aneurysms that were discovered quite incidentally on an MRI. And they recommended that I have them corrected via a craniotomy. And
everything, you're healthy now? Everything's
I'm
great?
very healthy, totally back to health. Thank you very much for asking. And essentially, I had worked since I was 16 years old. I was always extremely active. I was a model and actress on television on NBC, in fact.
Best network, network of the stars, network of champions.
That's right.
Network of Jeff Zucker and all things that are fantastic.
And, you know, I had always been very, very active, and therefore I had never, ever had a weight problem. But after brain surgery, I was kind of hanging around the house a lot, recovering, eating a lot, feeling sorry for myself that I had had to have this interruption in my life. And I gained about 10 or 15 pounds, and suddenly bras became my absolute nemesis because fashions were getting much tighter. Lycra had come big into fabrics, and tops were getting tighter. Even cashmere sweaters were called shrunken. And suddenly I noticed that my back was looking kind of bulgy because of the way the back strap on the bra was cut and constructed.
So basically all bras have a fundamental problem if there's a little extra weight where it starts to bulge in the back. And the bra business had not figured that out until this point.
Well, they hadn't, no.
Amazing.
No, it is kind of.
And you said?
There's got to be a better way.
Say it again?
There's got to be a better way.
And so what'd you come up with?
Came up with a better way.
What is that?
I decided that, well, I didn't really know what to do. I kept thinking about it, noodling it out.
Just so once again I understand the problem is if you put if the bra goes on and since it's in the back, the bulges would come over here and come out of the back.
Well, basically on the lats of a woman's back. That's the first place a woman starts to go maybe a little soft if she's not in the gym a lot and maybe she's gained a few extra pounds. It's very natural.
Okay.
But the bra strap, you know, the bra was created by men, you know, and nothing wrong with that, but they were only thinking of the front.
Yes.
No surprise.
No deep thinking of us by us men, okay.
And, you know, thank goodness, right? But I thought, okay, what about the back of the woman? Because you're seen from 360 degrees.
Sure.
And you want to look fit and trim. It's a younger look. It's prettier from every angle. So what can I do about this problem? I went shopping. I found nothing. So many people said to me, you know, actually, if you find something like that, would you let us know? Because it's a good idea.
So what'd you come up with?
So one day I had a light bulb idea. I was going out to dinner with my husband for Valentine's Day. And I was trying to wear this little tiny shrunken cashmere sweater. And I had a light bulb.
So far, so good, okay.
Light bulb idea. I said, ooh, control top pantyhose for the bottom half of the body. What about for the upper half of the body? Control, spandex, lycra. Go and get a pair of pantyhose out of my drawer. I cut the legs off. I cut the gusset out.
Okay.
Turned it upside down, slipped it over my head, put my arms through where the legs went, and pulled it down over my torso. Now, not very attractive. However, when I put that cashmere sweater on, I had a smooth back.
So this was basically the simple thinking. It's amazing. All these huge undergarment companies take what control top pantyhose do for the bottom, which is kind of form it all together, I guess.
Yeah.
And do it on the top. And smooth it, and you did it on the top.
Smooth it out.
And there it was.
And there it was. And I wore it out to dinner that night. And my husband said, how did you solve your problem, honey? And I went, like this. And he went, oh, that's romantic.
That's great. So basically, so what'd you do after that? So you have this crude, you know, just like our good friend from Spanx, same kind of thing.
Exactly.
Miss Sarah Blakely.
Yep.
She cut out the bottom of her feet, and that was it. And all of a sudden she had, so simple, crude. Now you got this crude idea that has solved your problem.
Crude prototype.
And what did you do from there?
Now I thought, okay, it needs cups. So I took some cups out of a bra that I had in my drawer, stitched them into this crazy prototype, and just started thinking, okay, I think I need a manufacturer because this is awful.
How did you know at that point that you knew there was going to be a market for it?
In fact, I just said to myself, this is something I need to create because it doesn't exist on the market, and I need it. It's a personal need.
It's so amazing. I'm just going to stop you for a second because we always think, well, the biggest minds must have thought of it. Okay, well, bras. They've been making bras for 8,000 years. There are 500 companies. Or if it comes to a health drink, there's always a better way.
Yeah.
You were living, women, the hundreds of millions of women, up until you were living with, okay, well, of course, they're going to be bulges. Until somebody stopped and said, there's going to be a better way.
In fact, they had...
That's the idea, guys. That's the million-dollar idea. Any time during your day, something's not going right. You're waiting for something too long. Something doesn't taste right. Something doesn't fit right. Something takes... That's the beginning. There's always a better way.
Yeah. And in fact, no one had ever really even thought of this until I started talking about bra bulge. And they started calling it back fat, which I kind of avoided because it sounded so awful.
Bra bulge, okay.
But no one had even thought of it. All my girlfriends said to me, oh, great, you've ruined me now. Now I look at the back of myself before I go out and I feel terrible.
It was a problem that was there, but nobody was addressing it.
Right, and I said, well, just wait for Sassybax and then you'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
So now you got this crude example. You realize there's a market out there.
Right.
You had no experience. Up to this point, you had been an actress and a psychotherapist.
Right.
No training, no manufacturing training, no selling training.
No.
You just knew there was a problem, and you had a crude example. So how did you turn that into a real
business? I did learn a lot of tricks from stylists in Hollywood when I was on TV. They've got a bag full of tricks.
Right.
And so I thought, and my father always taught me that if you have the right toolbox, you can solve any problem.
Okay.
And I have a bigger toolbox than any man I've ever met.
Okay.
And it's just amazing.
So how did you learn how to make these things, and how did you make the first call?
I said, okay, I need a manufacturer. I'm going to find, when I researched on the internet, I couldn't have done my business without the internet. I found what's called the Hosiery Association. I called 44 factories, and they all kind of said, well, okay, whatever, and hung up on me. And then finally I found a female that answered the phone, and she said,
so interesting.
That's an interesting idea. She said, why don't you call this factory down the road? They've got these things called Santoni machines, which are these huge Italian knitting machines. And I think that they could probably knit something around the torso with no seams, and that might be what you need to make your product. So I said, okay. So I literally called them up, and I was on the plane that night to North Carolina from Los Angeles to meet with the people because they were interested in my idea.
And once again, it took you the 45th call. Guys, it's not easy. You knew nothing about manufacturing. People hung up on you. It's okay. You finally find the right person. And you started at the top. You went right to Neiman Marcus.
Well, I didn't go right to Neiman Marcus. I wanted to, but they didn't know who I was, so they didn't return my call. Well, I finally my husband said to me, you've just got to pull out the stops, honey, you're being too modest. And I said, well, I don't like to brag. He said, did you tell them on the voicemail, who you are? I said, well, who am I? I'm really nobody. I'm not in this industry, He said, honey, they're from Dallas, you're from Texas, hello, you were Miss Texas. You need to pull out all the stops. And he encouraged me to not be shy.
Yeah.
And he said,
look, if you can't sell yourself, nobody else is going to buy.
That's right.
And that was he was very bright.
He was
Miss
very
Texas,
bright.
obviously, part of the home state, a celebration of the home state. You were an actress on Remington Steele. Yeah, not just. You did have a point of difference of somebody else just showing up.
I really did. So I left it on the voicemail, which just made me very embarrassed. But when they called me back, I was like, yes. So they said to me, the buyer said to me, well, next time you come to Dallas, why don't you come and see me? I said, how's tomorrow? She said, oh, okay. I got on the plane that night, and I seized the day, because that's one of the things you have to do.
You got to seize the day,
You can't let moss grow under your feet when you have a good idea.
You got to seize the day. So you got in front of her. How'd you make that first sale?
I showed her the product. I was wearing it. I showed it to her. I slipped on a very tight cashmere sweater over the product, and I showed her what it did for my back and for my figure. And she wrote an order, and I walked out with an order.
Was there any higher feeling you've ever had in your entire life?
Never.
Never.
I
with
walked
all the
outside.
acting, isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't even try to act cool. No way. I was like, thank you so much.
And they love that. They love helping new people.
Yeah.
Well, $10 million later, you are solving the bra bulge for women because you're somebody that had a problem and said the magic words?
There's got to be a better way.
Yes, there was for Amanda Horan Kennedy, president and designer of Sassybax. curing bra bulge all